Let us all be honest for a moment and confess that yes, Physics NCERT book is not the primary source of physics information for you all, right? It is definitely a secondary source after the books that you refer to for solving numericals, or your institution's note or the teacher that you follow. And it is absolutely right, because the number of few statement based questions that appear in NEET, that is maybe 3 or 4, the benefit to the time investment ratio for this book is definitely poor, and I do agree to it. Therefore, reading the book from cover to cover is not a smart choice, and I'm sure none of you seeing this video would do that. But completely ignoring this book is also not ideal, because there are certain statements which you can identify as right or wrong only after you've read the Physics NCERT. And let me tell you that there are very discrete areas in Physics NCERT from which NEET picks up question. Obviously, it's a pattern and not a hard and fast rule, but this pattern occurs too frequently to ignore, okay? So hello everyone, I am Sneha and I am presently a second year MBBS student pursuing my MBBS from College of Medicine and JNM Hospital, Kalyani, West Bengal. So through this video, I will try my level best to specify only those areas which are must know from this book. And what I'll request you all is to actually take out your NCERT books with me, because blindly listening to this video won't be fruitful at all. Please sit with me and just mark it in your book, and after this video ends, just read it once, okay? So to start the video, these are the topics which appeared recently in physics previous year questions, and you can take a screenshot of this, okay? So please take out your Physics NCERT with me. So this is class 11 part 1's book, and we are directly going to content. And please remember that I am going to talk about only those chapters which actually demand NCERT reading, okay? So from this book, it is just chapter 2 and bits and part of chapter 8, okay? So we'll go to chapter 2, and from chapter 2, you need to go directly to the place where accuracy, precision and error are written. So this part you need to look at once. After that, you need to look at the rules governing the determination of significant figure. So you'll go through this once, and I'm sure dimensional analysis and dimension of different quantities you would be well aware with already. So no need to read it from here. So this completes chapter 2. Then we'll go to chapter 8, that is gravitation. So in chapter 8, you need to absolutely read Kepler's law, this entire thing. And after that, you can come to geostationary satellites, because there are few lines that you need to know about it. So if you wish, then you can study this as well. Okay, this completes the absolutely necessary portion of this book. Okay, now we'll come to the second part of class 11's NCERT. We'll go directly to contents again. Okay, so from here, absolute necessary chapters are thermal properties of matter. You have thermodynamics. Then here comes kinetic theory. So these are the chapters which are absolutely necessary. But from solids, only one theory question has been asked, which is this. So you can go through that. And from mechanical properties of fluids, only a question of Venturi meter has been asked. So you can go through that. And rest, these 3 chapters demand your special attention for NCERT. So we'll go to chapter 11. So in this chapter of thermal properties of matter, you need to know the theory of conduction, convection and radiation, consisting of black body radiations as well. Now we'll come to thermodynamics. Thermodynamics, here you need to know each and every word of all the laws. So 0th law of thermodynamics, the first law of thermodynamics, second law along with all those statements, quasi-static process, second law with these statements, and Carnot engine. Okay. And after that, in kinetic theory of matter, it is such a chapter where you need to know the postulates of kinetic theory of matter. You can give it a read. And after that, these graphs are more than important. And this more or less concludes this book as well. Now we'll come to the part 1 book of class 12. From here, we'll go to chapter 1. And in this chapter, you'll directly come to this field line property and flux. You'll give it a read. Electric dipole is very important because there has been several questions asked from this. So make sure that you can attempt theory questions anyhow, be it by reading NCERT or by your conceptual knowledge. So these were the questions that were asked on dipole. So you can give it a read definitely. After that, we'll come to this Gaussian surface and Gauss's law and its implication. You need to go through this because there are a few lines which is very important. Next, we are coming to this chapter, and capacitance is something which holds the maximum value in theory questions. Now, let's come to electrostatic shielding. Very unique lines are mentioned here. Then definitely comes this important part of capacitors and capacitance. After that, from this chapter of current electricity, knowing the Kirchhoff's rule, that is loop rule and junction rule, is enough. The rest you can figure it out by yourself. Then from the next chapter of moving charges and magnetism, you need to absolutely know about Biot-Savart's law, followed by Ampere's circuital law. Magnetization, magnetic intensity, and followed by magnetic properties of material, which you'll also need in chemistry: diamagnetism, ferromagnetism, paramagnetism. These and this graph is absolutely necessary. Then for electromagnetic induction, there was once a question on Faraday and Henry's experiment. So if you feel like, you can give it a read till here. From this chapter of electromagnetic waves, you need to know the properties, nature of electromagnetic waves, and then directly come to the spectrum, where you need to know the order and also know these values vaguely. Okay? And this concludes this book. Now, when I come to this book, I just want to tell that this is the most important book for theory in physics. So from here, come to the content once. From ray optics and optical instrument, I have seen questions 2 times repeat from astronomical telescope. Then from wave optics, Young's double slit experiments holds so much of value because they frame different types of theory questions. So let's go to it once. You can definitely go through Huygens principle. And here comes the most important part of this chapter, that is Young's double slit experiment. So you need to anyhow get all the theory questions correct from this experiment. Okay. And here is one special numerical which will actually solve 90% of the chapter. So please go through this numerical. Okay. From here, polarization and scattering, Brewster's angle have definitely appeared in question 1. So polarization by reflection is something that you should look at from theory. Now we are coming to this most important chapter of dual nature of radiation and matter, wherein you need to read their theory and along with each and every graph. This is something that you should read definitely. Same goes with the chapters of atom and nuclear, because anyway you need to go through these from wherever you feel comfortable. Here comes this another large theory driven chapter of physics, wherein I'll again suggest to read the entire thing because there are very small lines inserted in every paragraph which are quite unique for NCERT. So you need to go through all these. Then comes this concept of diode and PN junction, and after that rectifier, Zener diode, and photoelectric junction devices will always appear in NEET examination. So these includes the absolutely must know and must avoidable points from physics NCERT.